What's going on, guys, and welcome to the morning live stream. And man, we have the stock market at all-time highs today. The SPY hit over 427 this morning in pre-market. It's sitting right there at open, and man, we're sitting right at that all-time high. I'm hoping we can break out and start to really run up with the SPY today. We have SPCE trying to it is actually kind of falling off to the downside after having a fantastic Friday. And man, who knows if the momentum can continue here, but if it does, who knows how high SPCE could go. In the past, they hit 62.80, and right now they're sitting right around 61.48, so they definitely have some room to go up if they can continue. But here we go, the market just opens and we have the SPY with some nice green candles.
You know it. So thank you guys so much for joining the stream, and good morning to everyone. Welcome Matt, Hunter, Roberto, Keisha, Sean, Click, I'm Fierce, Vicky, Kathy, the other Sean. Thank you guys so much for joining. The top stocks I am watching for today. The first one's Palantir. They've been slowly creeping up, and they actually just broke above the $27 resistance level. It's a great stock in the long term, for my opinion. I really like them. And at the same time, they're pretty good for short-term trading. And the other main stock I'm watching is BABA. This stock had an amazing, amazing Friday, and they're still holding their ground like in pre-market. So I think it has a lot of potential to continue up over the next couple weeks too. So this one's also definitely on my radar.
Yeah, for sure. And I really like that Palantir setup, Mike. That actually was an amazing breakout above that $27 resistance. And man, that resistance hit like 4 or 5 times over the past trading day, if you count Friday's movement. And man, it just exploded up through that, still running right now up to 27.18, and seems like a great day for Palantir off of this move. I wonder how some of those other growth stocks are doing, like RUN. RUN's having a run up today as well, up 6%. BLNK just kind of sitting even. So seems like some of those growth stocks are starting to pop, but not all of them. But man, Palantir and RUN look fantastic today so far. I'm trying to just find the other ones that are popping as well. Zoom looks like it's flying up also this morning, looking pretty decent.
Tom, you got to check out this QQQ. This thing is exploding at open. This is a monster candle. Look at this. We're soaring past all-time highs. Ginormous candle. Like, I can't even believe this. We have Apple really popping up. Zoom, like you said. So it looks like we're in for a great day. Palantir's moving. Baba's trying to move. But it looks like, just look at Apple and QQQ right now. Tons of buyers coming in.
Yeah, the Apple looks great right now. I had that 133 support, hit off of it early this morning pre-market. We saw some great momentum coming up. Seems like Apple actually came right up to that resistance around 134, where it's sitting right now. It definitely has some momentum, so it could continue up, but definitely look out. There is a little bit of resistance there around that 134 level, but man, this is awesome to see. This is a great Monday. Let's check out NVDA. That one's been huge as well. They're still running up also. So yeah, so far, great start to this week. And the stocks are hitting all-time highs. And it seems like they're just shaking off that inflation news from a couple weeks ago, which is awesome to see. And it's just nice to see the stocks, going to all-time highs. And we haven't really seen a solid breakout. It's always just been slightly flat. So hopefully we can see continued momentum here, because I'd really like to see a good breakout. The QQQ has been very nice. That's been actually breaking out very nicely, but the SPY and the Dow have just been lagging behind a lot. And the SPY specifically, it seems like it always moves up very slightly and then just kind of goes flat for a couple of days, and it just doesn't have too many big moves out of it.
You know it. I'm also watching Zoom, but let's get right into these comments. So we have Roberto saying, thoughts on LVS. Let's check it out. So I like it for a couple, I would say a couple day to a couple week swing. It's definitely not one of those plays with BABA where, when you have, a crazy, I don't know, Thursday or Friday where it's likely to continue. But I like it overall. It has support at, you could say 51.75 or so. What do you think, Tom?
Yeah, I think that there's also a good support right around there. You could also say somewhere around $52, but yeah, I really like the stock, like you said, like a couple day swing or something like that. For right now, it looks like this morning so far, it's coming down a little bit. You can see it moved from around let's say the close was 52.75 down to, 52.15 right now. So we might lose about, 70 cents or something like that. But hopefully it can kind of hit that 52 support and start to go back up. And honestly, this isn't too big of a move. Whenever you look like out on the daily chart, this red candle is very small comparative to like the movement we've been seeing the past few months. So we'll have to see how the stock can move like maybe like over the next couple days, and hopefully it can hit that support and kind of stay there.
All right. So, Tom, check out VIAC. This one's looking pretty good. It's up around 3% today. Huge candle at open and lots of volume coming in, too. I like this one.
Yeah, this one looks great, actually. Got beaten down the past year, and this was the stock that they got beaten down whenever GameStop exploded because they had something to do with Archegos, right?
Yeah, so it was Archegos. They were so over leveraged with swaps where like it was ridiculous amount of over leveraging, especially for like $1 billion fund. And when the stock starts to fall, they got called. So they had to force sell their positions, and it was not a good catalyst. And you really don't see situations like that happen too often.
Yeah, you don't. And man, that really poses a good opportunity to buy in down here around that support. And honestly, it looks like a really good play as of right now. There is that resistance coming up around like 45 or 46, but man, this is honestly moving very nicely. And I like it how it's starting to break out above some of these SMAs. It's holding that support very well. And I think that it'll start to, I don't think it'll be able to get back up to, $100 like right away or anything, but I think it could fill the gap possibly back up to somewhere around $60 pretty easily.
All righty, let me take a look. You said like 60 or so?
Yeah, it's a pretty good, I think 60 is a pretty good resistance in the past. And, you could maybe say like 50, but $60 has been hit a couple times.
Yeah, I think 50 is, really strong resistance, but, I really wouldn't be surprised if we do hit 60, but I think it'll definitely take a couple months at least. But pretty good setup overall. Then we have Sean saying, let's go NVIDIA, NVDA. Let's check it out. Wow, Tom, I literally can't believe this. Like, this thing is such a powerhouse. I was not expecting it to break past all-time highs like this.
Yeah, me either. And man, hopefully it can get up that $800 a share. I'd really like to see it, and it's honestly helping the QQQ continue its ascent to the upside. So hopefully it keeps going. And man, I wonder how much this is just gonna just keep running up into this split. We have about it today is June 28th, so we have about 1 month, or I should say about 20 days until this split occurs. So definitely have your eyes on it, because who knows how it's gonna move into that split. I would expect it to continue to explode, but I was looking for a little bit of consolidation before we got a little closer to the actual split date, but man, who knows? It might just keep going now. But yeah, hopefully it can move out above $800. That would be my first target here on this. And after 800, I would just continue at like the solid levels, like 825, 850. And because once we get to these all-time highs, you just can't call the top.
Through that. And then Sean saying, let's take a look at Apple. Let's go Apple. It's looking pretty good too. It had an amazing open. Tons of buyers came in and brought it right up to resistance, right around like 134.30 or 134.25. Yeah, we could say 134.25. The next major resistance I see is like right around 134.75.
Yeah, that's definitely going to be a huge resistance right there. And I love the movement today. It's just, as of right now, it kind of had a huge pop at open, and we're getting right up to those resistance levels. So it kind of has me a little bit worried. I think it'll take a lot of momentum to break out through that upper high today, but who knows? The market's definitely looking good. And on the 1 minute chart, Apple's looking very strong. So definitely have your eyes on it. I think it could start to break out above those resistances later on today, but for right now, I would kind of expect some more consolidation.
And then we have Keisha saying, let's go Tesla. This one's popping up, and we missed it, Tom. It's only up around 1.5% today, but intraday, it looks pretty solid. They do have some resistance or chop, you can say, at like 690. That's the main level I see. And then, of course, after that, there's a really big level right at 700, but definitely has potential volumes coming in, and the stock's popping.
Yeah, definitely. Tesla is looking awesome today. I really like the movement actually out of Tesla. It looks very strong. Like you said, initially right at open, we have all those nice candles going to the upside. Looks very nice. It moved right off that bottom support around 670 today at open, and that's just a very nice support level, and it's moving out above my above my trend line on the 1 year daily as well. And it looks like a very nice recovery style of play. And I hope Michael Burry closes position, because if not, I'd be getting a little worried about it right now. But I'm sure he took profits already. But this looks awesome. And man, I really like it. I would say intraday, look out for some levels here around, yeah, like right around where we are actually, like 682.25, somewhere right around there. There's definitely support getting close to that, or a resistance, I should say. So be a little careful around there, and then right up there around 690, like Mike said.
Sounds good. And then let's see. We have Spacely saying, good morning. Good morning. Let's get it. Let's go, Spacely. You were the member of the day yesterday. So thank you guys so much for joining. Hitting the like button would really, really help us out. So if you guys are enjoying the stream, if you guys could hit the like button, Tom and I would greatly appreciate it. Then we have Vicky saying CRM, PAYC, and RNGP. So let's check it out. CRM is the first one. It is looking pretty good at open, a nice pop up over 2%. And it actually is about to break out above that resistance at, let's see, right above that resistance at like 247, you can say, 247.50. So definitely watch out. Good eye, Vicky. Looks pretty good, and text popping. So it should definitely be a good setup.
Yeah, I like it too. She's been talking about CRM and asking about it for quite a while now, and it's been looking pretty hot actually on the recovery back, and I could see it start to break out here as well. It's just been sitting here for a couple of weeks in this range between like a lower level of like 240 and an upper level of like 247. So definitely watch out. I think it's at the upper level of that range, and we might start to see a solid move out above that like 247.50-ish area.
Alrighty, and then PAYC, PayC. Let's check it out. It looks not bad. It looks a little bit overextended to the upside, in my opinion, so I wouldn't play it.
Yeah, me either. It looks a little overextended. It definitely recovered up nicely though, so I think for like the longer term, it could definitely do well. But just in the shorter term, it definitely is up a little bit, and it is catching like some green candles today. Has some decent momentum, so it could keep going. But I personally wouldn't swing it. I might do like a quick intraday trade or something with it. But whenever I go look at the 1 minute, there's definitely not a lot of volume on this one either.
Alrighty, and then with the last one, RNG. Let's check it out. RNG looks decent. It doesn't look too I mean, yeah, it's kind of like the same setup as the last one. I mean, it's not bad. It's just, in my opinion, it's not worth the risk.
Yeah, it really is almost like the same chart setup actually, and just getting a little overextended, getting up to those like resistance levels. So definitely be a little careful with it, Vicky. I definitely like CRM setup way better than the last two.
Same here. So, Tom, what are you thinking about my stock Zoom? It's looking pretty good today. It's up almost 3%. And, we're getting close to breaking out. I've been watching this one since what, like May? What is it? Yeah, like the first week of May. So, what are you thinking? You think we have a breakout potential this week, or what do you think?
Yeah, I think we definitely do. There's been a lot of that downwards movement for like the past couple days, and it was starting to worry a lot of people who had the growth stocks. People were starting to get pretty scared with that red day that like Zoom had on Friday, and a lot of the other ones had. But very nice to see that recovery back up today. I think that brings up a lot of people's spirits with these stocks, and yeah, I'm with you. I think that it could definitely start to break out. With this high up here around 382.70 or 382.71 is very defined as a double top. We almost hit that today as well. And once we start to finally move out above that, I think we'll see a pretty big move, and it might happen in pre-market or something like that. So just keep that in mind. Also, you might not be able to, catch it the way you want to, but I think it could definitely start to break out here. And like I said, that double top area looks very nice, but with how like a lot of those growth stocks just fell down on Thursday and Friday, I think it was just a little bit of consolidation. And, I talked about it a little bit during those days where I said that, I just thought that we might have a couple of down days. We were at some of those key resistance levels. So it might take a couple of days to push through there. And it looks like it did. And I don't know if it'll, like, for example, if we hit off of that upper resistance right there around 382.70 and start to go back down again today, then we might just start to head down. But for right now, I'm definitely still looking at it to the upside. It's just going to depend on if it can start to break out through that. But overall, it's nice to see these growth stocks starting to go up again. And I think that just after those couple days of consolidation, we'll start to see more moves.
True that. And then we have Hunter saying airlines and cruise lines not doing so hot. They're
Ooh.
getting smacked. I was looking at these ones. Like you look at AAL down almost 4% today. Southwest is down 2%. We have United down 3%. We have CCL down 5%. I actually heard news of CCL like selling around $500 million worth of their stock. NCLH getting smacked. It's looking brutal. The setups were looking pretty decent like a couple weeks ago or like a little over a month ago, and now they're just getting smacked.
Yeah, they are, and this has to have something to do with like COVID, I would think, or something like that. Something's definitely going on right now, and who knows? We definitely need to keep our eyes on the news. I'm actually searching around for it, and I can't find too many catalysts right now, but I'll definitely let you guys know if I find anything. But definitely starting to look scary on the chart, especially like with AAL, CCL, and some of those others. They're starting to break through the 100 SMA and some of those key levels that they've been bouncing off of. And man, CCL has just been very solid on that 100 SMA, hitting off of it 3 times, right on the money, and just having good trades off of it. Same with AAL, moving very well off of it, and it just finally broke that support and moved to the downside. And man, that was actually a pretty big move. So definitely we'll have our eyes on this one for sure.
So I'm seeing in the news right now, the Carnival CEO said that the cruise line demand is exceeding the supply, which is good. While at the same time, though, they just did like a $500 million offering. So let me check it out. Yeah, let's see. Yeah, I'm seeing selling up to $500 million worth of shares. So that is, it's not good for the short term because obviously more shares equals, just more selling pressure and, just not good for the stock for the short term. And Tesla had a similar setup. But for the long term, it's good because it brings capital to the company and, they can reinvest and do all that good stuff. So then we have Kathy saying DraftKings, Apple, Neo, please. DraftKings is looking okay. They have support right at 51, which they're bouncing off right now. After that support, they have another support just above $50, which looks a little bit stronger. It bounced off that a couple times last week. So definitely watch out for that support right above $50. You can see like $50.20 or so. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think that's going to be the level to look at. And DraftKings has been hard to trade, the past like couple months. It's just been kind of going up and down with some pretty big moves, actually. And, you can see that there was a couple days like where DraftKings had some big green days, kind of like on June 15th, where they started to really recover back. And I'm not sure about this one. It could start to consolidate in the short term. I have no idea, but definitely had some momentum like to end the week last week, but as of right now it's just starting to go a little bit flat, and I would be a little worried possibly for some more consolidation or something. There's another key resistance up there around 55, so if we did pop, we would hit another resistance pretty quickly.
All right, with the next one, we have Apple. AAPL is looking pretty good so far. It's popping up around a little over 1%, but we're heading towards that big resistance at like 134.70.
Yeah, Apple's one of my favorite stocks. This one looks very solid, starting to get really close to that level. I think it's actually just about to break out. I wonder if we're going to start to see a solid move here on the 1 minute chart up above 70 and see like how far it can go here above 134.70. So let's see actually really quick. It's at 134.75. And Apple's been so hot this morning. Once it got up to like 134, I was a little worried it would consolidate there and then kind of just kind of stay at those levels, but very nice to see it continuing and breaking that type of like range that we've been in for the past couple of weeks. And very big move actually out of Apple. QQQ looking solid as well, breaking out to those all-time highs. And I wonder how Tesla's doing, and Tesla's popping up as well, not at all-time highs, but definitely with a pretty solid move.
All righty, and with the last one, we have NIO. How's this one doing? It is popping. There we go. It's up almost 5%. Wow. The next resistance is at like 47.50, which we're getting pretty close to right now. But yeah, this one's exploding up. It even looks pretty decent on the daily too. So I like this one for the long term. And it's pretty good for short term trading too.
Yeah, it is. I mean, NIO's always a pretty good stock. And as long as we continue to see this momentum out of tech and out of like the EV sector, I think NIO's going to be a fantastic option.
Absolutely. And then let's see. We have with the next comment, we have Tim saying, I have been hot on Workhorse for a while and looks like it may move today. What's the next level it needs to break? Let's check it out. Workhorse is moving pretty well today. It's up almost 9% or over 9% now, and it's continuing to pop up. If we look at the hourly chart, I see a really big resistance at 18 and then like a high at like 1860. So I would say like the major level would be 1860. But we all know how Workhorse is. The IV is 150%, and when this thing moves, like it can really move. So 1860 is my major level.
Yeah, I see that one as well. That's definitely a good upper resistance. And I'm going to be honest, I really like this setup for some reason. It's hitting right off of that support around like 1350 so nicely and just starting to move back to the upside. It looks like a very solid setup here. I think we could start to see maybe a fill of this gap possibly, or just a little bit of a move back up to like 20 or $21. So honestly, I think it's a pretty good setup for like a couple weeks swing. Anything can go on over the next couple days. We could see 2 red days and then a huge green day with Workhorse where it's up 10%. So, just keep in mind, you might want to get something with like a lot of time, or, just get shares if you do like it. But I really like the setup. And for the longer run, I think it'll be a pretty decent stock to buy, especially at these levels.
All right. And then we have R saying AMD, please. Let's check it out. AMD, it's having a great day. It's struggling right at that resistance at $88 right now. Another resistance right at like $89 to the $90 area. I like this one for like a hold, to be honest, like for like a couple months or so. I'm not a huge fan of it for day trading right now, but that's just my opinion, and it doesn't mean it's bad. It's just I like it more for like a buy and hold.
Yeah, to me, it's almost the same thing as Apple. So if you like Apple for day trading, I think AMD's a, pretty solid stock, kind of like Apple. It moves similar in the morning to it. So that would be the main thing I would look at with it.
All righty. And then we have Click saying, what happened to NCLH? So there's just a ton of negative sentiment with airlines and cruise lines right now. I'd assume it's moving in sympathy with Carnival Cruise Lines, which had that $500 million offering. Then we have James saying, good morning, guys. What are your thoughts on Wish and SPCE? All right, so Wish, I think it has potential. It's just like lingering right around that resistance at $15. It's not quite a breakout, but it does have potential. It's like slowly creeping up there, kind of like what Palantir's been doing. So it's on my radar, but it's not a breakout just yet. Do you have any thoughts on this one?
I've honestly been waiting for it to break out. It just seems like it's really trying to break out above that $15 resistance, but it's having a lot of problems getting up through that. I will say, though, on the daily, it's looking pretty enticing. Like if I was going to look for something to break out, this setup does look pretty strong. So I think it's definitely a solid setup. It has a lot of potential, but the question is will it break out through that? And I'm guessing like it'll probably do that like in pre-market or something like that. So you'll probably have to be, holding before the breakout happens, which, puts you in almost like a bad situation. So it definitely makes it a little bit risky.
All right. And then with the next one is we have SPCE. So this one had an explosive day on Friday, but it's pulling back a little bit today, which in my opinion is a good thing because it's healthy. It's how stocks should work. You don't want to just be up 39% and then be up 50% and then up another 20%, like that's just it's not good. But either way, it is holding its ground. It's not like it's tanking, and we're sitting right above that support at like $52. So I'm not really worried about this one too much, but they really did have a great catalyst with getting their okay to go from the FAA. That's an amazing catalyst. Like it's not like they just reported good earnings, or it's not like they just had a price target or anything like that. Like they have their license to take people into space, which in my opinion is huge.
Yeah, that's pretty big, and it's definitely going to allow them to make a lot of money. And I'm not surprised to see them pulling back like they are right now. In the past, whenever they had those big like 20%, 30% days up to that 60 resistance, they definitely pulled back for the next couple days. So don't be surprised if there's any pullbacks. And keep in mind, they did pull back and then continued to go up. So I think it could definitely keep going up over the next few days. It's just, like you said, it's just a nice, healthy pullback here.
Sounds good. And then let's see. We have Corbin saying, "Morning, guys. I'm trying to decide if Apple is going to break out or not. Let's check it out. I mean, I like it for like a couple week hold. It's right at that resistance right now at 135. So we'll probably know in like 15 to 20 minutes. But we're right at that resistance, and text popping up. So I would say it's more likely than not to break out. But of course, we have to keep our eyes on it. Then we have Matt saying banks down as well. AMC green candle. Yeah, with banks, I'm just kind of expecting like a slow and choppy move to the upside. It's just my opinion. But to me, I feel like there's better opportunities like with Zoom. You can even say Disney. I really like those two. And then he also mentioned AMC, which it was popping up like a couple minutes ago, but it's just kind of pulling back just a little bit right now.
Yeah, for sure. And AMC's been one of the big stocks to watch, and it almost looks like on the daily it's starting to like fall off to the downside a little bit. I'm glad to see it's starting to come back today, and who knows if we start to see more green candles this week and we start to break out above that 60 resistance, which for some reason AMC has just refused to break out above, then I think that we'll start to see a pretty good move.
Sounds good. And then let's see. James saying Hong Kong bans UK travelers, but I don't know if that has anything to do with it. All right. We have PC saying, any idea what's going on with CVM halted and way down? Yeah, CVM is getting smacked this morning. It's down around 28%. Like you said, it is halted. I didn't see the news. Let's see. It looks like they had some bad news with their drug or something like that. Just from initially scanning the news. Yeah, so it looks like they had like bad news with their study or something like that. I don't really follow this stock too much, but it is halted and there's a lot of selling pressure.
Yeah, and this stuff happens whenever you trade stocks that are doing studies and stuff like that. Very early on when I first started trading, for some reason I really loved like biopharma companies and stuff, and it's almost like trading earnings plays. You never know which way it's gonna go, and sometimes it goes very well and the company explodes, like we saw with Biogen a while ago. BIIB, their Alzheimer's drug went amazing, and they moved from 280 all the way up to 468 in just one day. So it could definitely go well for you, but at the same time, it can go bad, like in this case.
True that. And then Sean saying any levels for XPEV, XPEV. It looks pretty good, actually. Let me go to an intraday chart. Their next major resistance is until like 45.50, you can say, or 40. At that point, might as well just say 45.75. But 45.75 is the major one. And yeah, that's the main one I'm watching. I don't see any other big ones.
Yeah, there's not anything too big. Like you said, there is another one like right around like 45 even, but like you said, you might as well just go out to 45.75, somewhere between there. I would say would be a good resistance.
Indeed. And then we have James saying Wish option for 716. Let's check it out. Wish is up around 3.5%. It's holding its ground and it's slowly creeping up there. So I'll definitely keep it on my radar. We have Kid California saying AAL and LVS looks like it fell off a cliff, and now BABA to the downside. So I know we took profits on BABA for Friday, and that was an amazing trade. AAL and LVS are definitely pulling back to the downside. Airlines have been struggling quite a bit lately. We are getting pretty close to a support level, but, if they keep tanking, then we're just going to cut the loss. We're not going to hold it forever. LVS, it's trying to bounce up a little bit intraday. It's not too bad at all, actually. It's bouncing right off that $51.50 area. The market's popping up. I'm not worried about LVS, but if it falls, then we're just going to cut it.
And the good news is that AAL, I think, is that's really far out. It's like January, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it has a ton of time. So,
yeah.
I'm not really worried about it, but in the worst case scenario, we just cut it. We're not going to hold it. We're not going to hold and hope, as a lot of people say.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of people, they just like to hold and hope. And, it's just one of those situations where, like with options, it just decays as you continue on to hold it and hold it. And the closer you get to expiration, it just starts to curve off a cliff. And you guys can go look at like the theta decay options curve, or the chart that shows like the way the options start to decay. But yeah, definitely, like as you get closer to expiration, it sometimes, like especially like within like a month, it starts to really sell off pretty quickly. And even like it sucks because you'll go to bed one night and wake up and lose 10% to theta just because the stock was flat.
Yeah, that sucks. Like even when like what in my opinion, what sucks the most is like let's say you have, I don't know, let's say you could say like square calls and let's say because the options are relatively expensive, you might have to go a couple strikes out of the money and let's say squares up a little bit, you can still be down, anywhere like you said, Tom, from like 5% to 15%. So it sucks, but always trust your gut with everything, kid. Then we have Sean saying, calling it NVIDIA 800 by the end of the day. Let's check it out. I mean, it's rallying. I'm not gonna bet against you because it's such a powerhouse. And over the past day, we're already up $30.
Man, I love NVIDIA so much. I'm running like this. They definitely deserve it, I think. And guys, let me know if something just happened with the stream. The program we use to run it just said I disconnected for a second, so definitely let me know. But yeah, NVIDIA is really running up, looking pretty nicely, and moving very nice. I could easily see it hitting 800. It had such a big move today from just at open at 770 all the way up to 793, 20 points, just about 23 points. So I could definitely see it continuing up to 800 or even higher. But man, I'm wondering how much this thing can go. It seemed like it's just gonna continue into oblivion.
All righty. And then what do we think about Tilray, Tom? It's popping up pretty good. We know how these MJ stocks are. Like they'll go up and down, up and down, up and down, and then they'll just explode out of nowhere. So I'm keeping my eye on it. I really like it. And, like it has these weird sell-offs like at open, and then the buyers will come in and then it'll sell off again, and then it'll continue up. So, in my opinion, that shows strength and it shows that it has potential. But I like the way it's moving right now.
Yeah, definitely. It's really starting to move very nicely. I like how it broke out above like that 1870 level that it hit, a couple weeks ago, like a couple Wednesdays ago. And it looks like a very solid move back to the upside. I love how it held that support around $18. And this morning it opened, it actually came like right down to that 18 level before coming back up. Like you said, it's kind of weird how it always sells off and then gets bought right back up. And then ends up falling off like later on in the day or whatever. But definitely a crazy mover here. Big resistance around $19, I'd say. So be a little careful intraday, but I really like the moves out of these stocks, and I would almost expect the way that they're moving here off of these supports and stuff for like possibly like a good catalyst or something like that to come out, maybe like some more legalization or something, who knows. But these stocks definitely look like they're primed for like a possible recovery. I'm not saying it's going to go back up to 67 or even back up to 300 where it was the last time it ran up really big, but man, it could definitely have some potential to continue going up. And Tilray's a nice stock, and they even short squeezed like almost in the past when they ran up to $300 back there in the past. And just keep in mind, like this stock can definitely move when it starts to run and has a lot of potential. Like if you're swinging options or something like that, it could definitely be a good thing to trade.
You know it. And my stock's breaking out, Tom. Finally, Zoom is popping up. We're sitting just under 384. We have volume coming in. It's popping up. I love this stock. I've been talking about it for quite some time now, so I'm happy to finally see it popping up. Then we have Click saying thoughts on MU. Let's check it out. MU, they do have earnings very soon. They have earnings on, what is it, the 30th after market close. So in like 2 days or so. I'm just going to be neutral. I never, ever play earnings, as it's just a complete gamble. And even if you predict the direction correctly, you can still lose money. So I'm just going to stay neutral on it, but it looks all right. So I'm just officially neutral.
Yeah, I'm neutral on it too. It's kind of like in the middle of the range. I'll say it's a little bit more towards the lower end. I'd say if you like shares, it could be decent, but keep in mind these earnings are coming up. AMD and Nvidia have not reported earnings yet, and they're like the bigger semiconductor stocks. So keep in mind, like MU might give us a little bit of an insight into how AMD and how Nvidia will do on their earnings. Like if MU comes out and says that high prices are just causing them huge concerns or something like that, then who knows, it might end up sending them to the downside, and that might hurt Nvidia and AMD also. So definitely be aware for these earnings, because It's definitely going to like show how the semiconductor market is kind of going overall. Obviously, like a lot of the stuff is going to be company specific, but if they start talking about like higher prices in the industry overall or something, that's more of like what I'm talking about.
Alrighty, and then let's check out these next questions. We have Jason saying, "Hope Apple drops so I can sell the weekly 132 put for $50." Yeah, that'd be awesome. I love selling puts on solid companies like Apple. Neo's pretty good. Palantir, DraftKings, Zoom, Baba, Square's not bad. But like one of the best ones I found was Neo. Actually, they have some pretty good premiums relative to their price.
Yeah, Neo always has good movement too. Like it seems like whenever they start to move in the morning, they generally start to have that solid type of move in either direction, whether that's to the upside or the downside. At least, it kind of has that momentum in one solid way, which is always pretty good.
All right. And then we have Jorge saying NNDM is at resistance. Let's check it out. NNDM, it is, yeah, it actually is. It is. It's up around 5% today. Big resistance right at $10, and it's slowly trending up, which is always good to see.
Yeah, for sure. And this stock's definitely hot in a very hot sector. And I know that it could definitely, start to recover up. I like how it's moving up above these SMAs as well. And man, I could start to see this one start to break out possibly.
All righty. And then we have Khalil saying thoughts on Rolls-Royce the next year. So ticker symbol RLLCF, Tom, RLLCF. It's not bad. It's just like a weird chart. I don't know what the exact deal is with this chart, but honestly, we all know the brand Rolls-Royce. We all know that they make some sick cars, but to be completely honest with you, I have not did a deep dive on their company or their fundamentals or anything like that. And then their chart's a little weird, so it's hard to give an accurate analysis.
Yeah, nobody wants Rolls Royce. You know what we like? We like Ferraris around here. And we we like race. No, I'm joking. They're all really nice, but I would say like if you're looking at like luxury cars or something, Ferrari has a little bit better of a chart than Rolls Royce does, but Rolls Royce was like almost like a penny stock it seemed like, Mike, but keep in mind it is foreign, so it definitely is going to have some strange movement, but I do like Ferrari's chart. It seems like it's pretty close to that $200 support.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with these Rolls-Royce ticker symbol right here. I don't know. It's kind of weird because there's no way they're an actual penny stock, but then you look at their shares and they're trading for like 3 cents. So I don't know. There's definitely something that we're missing, but how is race looking good? How is race looking, Tom? I know that it's been consolidating between the channel right around 200 and 220 for the past couple months.
Yeah, it's been really sitting right around there, and I think it looks like it could start to bounce off this, 200-ish support and start to move up, and that support's pretty big, like all the way back in what is this? Let's see. In August of 2020, it kind of hit that 200 support or 200 resistance at that time and started to going down and finally moved out above that. But like you said, just sitting within that range, and it's good news because it's at the bottom of the range right now. So it could start to move up and have a pretty, I think a pretty good recovery, especially as these electric cars and everything start to get bigger. Ferrari's coming out with just new types of Ferraris and stuff like that, of course. And, they're always making new stuff. So just keep that in mind. And they're big into Formula One and stuff like that as well. And a lot of people in the US don't even watch Formula One or anything, but it's a big money type of game.
Alrighty, and then we have Sean saying swinging an $800 call for July 16th for NVIDIA. He got in when NVIDIA was at 786. So NVIDIA right now is at 795. Holy.
We're getting close, Mike. We're getting close.
Wow. Yeah, I can't believe it. I hope it pays for you, Sean. It sounds like it definitely is already, but I definitely hope it continues up for you.
You know who's really happy today?
What?
Muscle Car must be really happy.
Yeah, I know. He's been holding NVIDIA for forever, so he's definitely having a great day. We have Keisha saying Etsy has been on a run this past week. I'm up 183%. Think it can break the 192 resistance? ? So ETSY 192 resistance. It's at that right now. Let's see. It looks like, I mean, if we can keep up this type of momentum in the market in general, tech stocks are going to continue to pop. So, in my opinion, it all depends on how like the QQQ and just the sentiment with the market overall.
Yeah, for sure. And keep in mind, like a lot of it comes down to like, if we have like a few specific stocks catch green on a given day, like today, like with Tesla, Apple, Neo, Palantir, Zoom, like whenever you get those key stocks starting to catch that green, it just sends that QQQ and the overall market flying up like we're seeing today. And that's just honestly really good day overall so far. Lots of stocks are green, very few things going off to the downside. So just a really good day overall.
All righty. And then we have Corbin saying Airbnb and Boeing. What are your thoughts? So I've been really watching Airbnb, and they try and break out and they just get rejected like every single time. So they're on my watch list, but they're just not a prime setup, for as much as I watch them and as much as, whatever, as much as they have news or momentum, they can't break like cleanly above like 155, like that area. So I'm, just no play, like they try, but they just can't do it. So I'm just going to be like neutral to like very slightly bullish on them. I think they have potential, but they just need some time. What do you think?
Yeah, and like you said, you just need to get time. So for me, I think like leaps or like shares would be a good way to go. I think that eventually we'll have like a good catalyst or something and get a solid break up through these levels, like maybe like some good traveling numbers or something. But all this stuff that we're seeing right now with the airlines going down, the airlines, the cruise lines, like the travel industry, it just kind of got hurt today pretty bad. So just keep in mind Airbnb's kind of thrown into that sector. And I found some more airline news, and it said that like Southwest Airlines canceled like a lot of flights, like thousands of different flights or something. So I don't know if that has something to do with it as well. And it seems like a few of the airlines were canceling flights, but definitely a weird thing for this sector. And like we said earlier, there's stuff going on with the cruise lines where they obviously they had some good news but some bad news at the same time. And it's just definitely not going to be the best of years. And I know some of the cruise lines even had to cancel some cruises a while ago and different stuff. So just keep in mind the travel industry, while it seems like it should be doing fantastic, it's just it's kind of like lagging behind right now.
And then Boeing, this stock's really struggling. I know I saw they had some negative news earlier. The FAA letter raises issues with the Boeing 777-9-9 certification. So 777X. So it looks like they had some problems with the FFA or the FAA, I should say, in their certification. So, they're really sensitive to this type of news. Remember when they had like, the bad news with what was it, like the
737 Max.
Yeah, yeah. So, they're really sensitive to news like this. Overall, they're a great company for the long term, but news like this will definitely hurt it for the short term. And it looks like we have Workhorse popping up, Tom. Uh-oh, here we go. It's up around 15% today. It is exploding. Wow, tons of volume coming in. We're right at that $18 resistance.
Yeah, we're getting really close to that resistance, and man, we actually hit right off of it. Like, look at the 1 minute candles here. It hit right on $18, came right back to the downside. We'll have to see how that can continue to move today. With the momentum we have, it might actually break out. I have no idea, but definitely look for it to break out over the rest of this week. I think we could definitely see a good move up above these levels, and I've loved this setup. Early this morning, it looked great. It's moving well above the SMAs, moving well with supports, and overall, just a great stock right now. Definitely look out for that resistance up there around $20, though, once we break out above 18, but overall, a pretty decent play here.
All right. And then we have Slick saying, good morning, stocked up fam. Mike and Tom, what's good? And then shout out Hunter, no cap. Yeah, Hunter needs a shout out every now and then. But Slick said, oh yeah, swinging the Workhorse 16 strike call for July 16th in at 195, currently at 310. So it's probably even higher right now. He said the 16 call for July. Let's check it out. 16 call for July. Yeah, right now it's at like 315 or 310, you can say. So it's really popping up, and I'm glad you're holding it. What are you thinking for an exit strategy, Slick? Do you have any like resistance levels in mind, or are you just playing it by ear? Let us know. But then we have Vicky saying, Z, please. Let's check it out. Z is doing pretty good. I like it for like a slow bounce back up. It looks like they have some resistance right around like 127. Or do you see anything else, Tom?
Yeah, I see another one like in the shorter term, maybe here like right around like 124 as well. Definitely hit there a couple times in the past, so definitely be a little careful with that in the shorter term. But once we start to get a solid breakout above that, well, I think we'll start to see a pretty good move, like you said, up to like 127. And whenever I look at this on the 15-minute, it's holding the 100 SMA pretty well actually today. So we might start to see a solid move like later in the week, especially if the market can continue to move the way it's been going.
Sounds good. Then we have Keisha saying swinging DraftKings, 20 contracts of the $53.50 calls expiring Friday. So please be careful with those weekly options. The theta decay is absolutely brutal, especially when it's out of the money too. So, I love DraftKings as a stock. I love it as a company, but just please be careful with those weekly calls. They can be pretty dangerous, but at the same time, they can definitely pop. So I'll definitely have my eyes on DraftKings. It looks like they're coming back a little bit intraday. They had a hard sell-off at open down to like 51, but now they're right back to even.
Yeah, they are. It's actually looking pretty decent. The recovery's looking good. I think if they could come back up and maybe break $52, we could see another pretty good move up today. And man, DraftKings has just been having a lot of problems over the past like couple months, just consolidating here below like that 55 resistance. And I think we will actually start to break that eventually. It's just, how long will it take? But in the short term, it looks pretty good. But like Mike said, be pretty careful whenever you're trading those those weekly options. That's the type of scenario we talked about. Like if DraftKings just goes flat tomorrow and stays between 51.50 and $52 tomorrow, we're those contracts might take a pretty big hit due to that theta. So definitely be a little careful with it. But like Mike said, high risk, high reward type of play. So if DraftKings sees a nice pop, you'll definitely have a pretty nice looking account right there. So hopefully it goes up for you.
All right. And then Keisha also said Tesla is at the 190 resistance. Let's see. Tesla. Yeah. So it's right. Yeah. Basically 690 resistance. Yeah. It looks like it's struggling a little bit in that area. If it can break above that, watch for 700. That'll be pretty strong. Then we have Sam saying, I read that Royal Caribbean had a positive COVID-19 on a ship last week or weekend. So I didn't see that, but that would obviously not be a good sign. So that would be RCL. Let's check it out. RCL is definitely struggling. I mean, all these cruise lines and airlines are just getting smacked. They should be good for the long term, but for the short term, they're looking pretty dangerous.
Yeah, they are. They're really getting hit, like you said. And if there is anything going on with COVID on like a ship or something, that's obviously not good news for them. But yeah, definitely just bad for the whole sector overall, and definitely bad movement here. And the daily chart is starting to look pretty worrisome. So we'll have to see how this situation kind of ends up playing out, because man, like if we start to see a continued sell off and if it starts to fall below this $80 support, I'm gonna start to get pretty worried.
All righty. And then let's see. We have Slick saying he's holding Workhorse for $20 if it cleanly breaks 18. So yeah, it's a powerhouse, and I really hope it continues up for you, because I know we have a couple people holding it. So I really want that one to pop up. Zoom's looking amazing, Tom. I don't know if you saw this one, but it's definitely trending up.
Yeah, look at that. That's actually a really good move today. I saw it earlier whenever we were talking about it, but it just continues to fly up here. Oh, as I say that though, Mike, I shouldn't look at this one. Apparently I bring bad mojo to it, but we see a big red candle now on it. But overall this morning, great movement, and on the daily looks very nice. And keep in mind that red candle I'm talking about is a pretty small one on the 1 minute. So, it's not like we're seeing a huge sell-off or anything. And it's definitely a pretty nice setup. I really like Zoom. And man, Mike, we've been holding this one for a while, and it's been doing very, very, very great, just to say the least. Very good movement with it. I like the breakout out of all the resistances and stuff like that. And really good call out, man. It's a really good setup, and it's just been slow and steady, but very nice, nice option there.
You know it. And then we have Vicky saying, well, first we had Slick saying, damn it, Tom. Yeah, Tom, why are you turning Zoom around?
Yeah, hey, it ain't my fault.
All right, next time I'm just not going to bring it up. All right,
yeah, don't even talk about it next time. It
Trust
seems
me.
like I turn it on, it gets instant red candles.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's not happening next time. I'm just gonna keep it to myself. But then we have Vicky saying AI, please. AI is doing pretty good. It's up around 3% today. It is sitting right around that $66 resistance. It's slowly trending up, but it's definitely not bad. I'm trying to get some more levels for you. Give me 1 minute. It looks like there is a little resistance right around like just under 67, but then the major level to watch out for, a really strong level, is right at 73. It bounced off that quite a few times, and it has definitely struggled at that level in the past.
wow, who asked about this one, Vicky?
Yep, Vicky.
Man, Vicky, I really like this stock. I'll tell you, for the long term, right now for shares, I think this is one of the better options you can get. Even for like leaps right now, I like how it's moving so solidly off that 60 support. And for the longer run, this is in a great sector. I'm not sure if something bad happened fundamentally or something that made them fall so drastically, but I think for the longer run that they'll definitely turn it around. Reminds me of like a Peloton or something that just got destroyed and is kind of like on its way back up right now. And man, I really like it, Vicky. I think it's a really good setup here. And like I said, for shares or for like longer term leaps, I think it could be a really good stock right now, especially like I said, since it's at towards the end of like its consolidation. It's been around here for like a few months and definitely has room to go to the upside.
All right, and then we have Keisha saying, "What do you guys think of Roblox?" So, I it's good for short-term trading, but it's not something I would hold for the long term. And that's just my opinion. That does not mean it's bad. It's just I like other companies better, like Zoom, Palantir, NIO, DraftKings, Redfin, Enphase, even Peloton. So it doesn't mean it's bad. It's just I like other ones better. Um, for the short term, they do have a resistance right at 95 and then a really big level at 100. And of course, that all-time high is right around like just under 104. But for the short term, the next major level I would watch is 95.
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely the biggest resistance there. Hit off of it like 3 or 4 times. So definitely look out for that. And man, Roblox was having a good, past few weeks, or I should say like a couple months ago, it was running up very nicely. Just broke those highs every single day and just kept running. And it looks like we're starting to get a pretty solid move back to the upside now. And overall, I think Roblox could be decent. It's not my favorite stock in the world. They are just like a video game, and keep in mind that that type of sector does very well. Video games do very nicely. If you do like video games though, and you don't want to trade like Roblox or something, I think EA, which is Electronic Arts, has a new Battlefield game coming out. It could do very well. I'm kind of like a nerd when it comes to this stuff, so EA could definitely do well with that Battlefield game coming out. And then we have ATVI, who makes Call of Duty. Looks like they're starting to pop up off that $90 support as well. So I think that those are two better like video game stocks if you wanted some. But I think that in the shorter term, Roblox could do very well. But in the longer term, it's not my favorite long term. But short term, I think it could be good like for day trades or pretty quick swings.
All right, and then we have Keisha saying AMGN is looking good for a breakout. Let's check it out. Yeah, it definitely is. I was looking at that one, and it definitely has potential. We have Slick saying, speaking of NIO, damn it, it's an explosion. It is. It definitely pops, and today alone it's up almost 7%. So it's a powerhouse, kind of like Nvidia. They're a good amount off their highs, but I love NIO for the long term, and I think that they have a lot of potential for the future, and they have a ton of buyers stepping in today.
Yeah, I cannot believe that they're still up like this today. Look at the volume actually here on my 15-minute chart. Like look at the past few days towards open. Like they really had a lot of volume come in today, and there's a lot of people coming in like you said. So there is this upper resistance right around, it was like 48. There is kind of where it extended up towards like 48.35 the other day. So be a little careful with that coming up, but overall, lots of great movement today. I'm not sure it can continue to keep going up. It's already up, almost 7% now. So pretty good day overall. Definitely one of the are generally like it's definitely in like getting like that higher percentile area for like how much it's went up. So definitely be careful of it. But I think for like the next like couple days to couple weeks, this stock will look really good. And it's been a big powerhouse. And like you said, Mike, it's almost been like in the shadows lately. Like we have Tesla and all these other stocks that have just been like taking the spotlight away.
All right. Well, Tom, do you have any last minute stocks or anything you're watching for the rest of the day? I know we have a lot of movement today and most of it's good.
Yeah, lots of good movement. I know Apple was a big runner early on. I'm looking for a solid breakout here with Apple. It looks like they're getting some consolidation right now. Maybe we'll see a bigger move later in the day after we come down and test support or something like that. But definitely looking at Apple, looking at Palantir for another continuation, and they're actually continuing up above 27, looking like they're running again as well. So Palantir, Zoom again as well. Zoom's been so hot the past couple of days. Honestly, that stock, Vicky said AI is looking pretty hot as well intraday, running up to 66.60. Still watching that one for sure, and definitely going to be eyeing this one up on the daily chart as well. But overall, pretty good day out of tech stocks. Like we said, the marijuana stocks are also kind of popping. So overall, pretty much, I could almost say I'm watching every stock, Mike. It seems like every stock's looking good today. So, but definitely the main ones for me: Zoom, AMD, Palantir, and Apple are going to be the main ones.
Well, sounds good. And thank you guys so much for joining the stream and asking great questions. Thank you so much for everyone who, showed up today and, hit the like button or asked a question. Tom and I had a great time, and we hope you guys have an amazing rest of the day.